The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Happening now at 10 o'clock, covering the entire DMV.
We're definitely going to miss the smile. That's all we got from her.
The family grieves tonight after loved ones were killed in a fiery crash in Prince George's County. What led up to the wreck and what relatives of those victims hope to find out. And from student loan payments to new laws in the DMV, the sweeping changes in effect that you need to know right now. And an overtime thriller, the Commanders coming up just short in their nail-biting matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles.
And our weather is going to be really, really nice over the next couple of days. It certainly is not going to feel like early October, more like early September or even late August. We'll talk about why coming up.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 10 o'clock on DCW 50. I'm Ben Dennis. This Sunday evening, developing now in Virginia. Police investigate a homicide after a woman's body was found in a tent near Burke Lake Park in Fairfax Station. Police identified the body as 40-year-old Cara Abruscato of Fairfax, who's seen right here on your screen. She did go missing last month, but police say that she was found safe not long thereafter at the time. But right now, officials are asking the public to help them locate this man, Rami El Sayed, who is labeled as a person of interest in this case. And some of the families of those who were killed in Friday night's fiery crash in Prince George's County are sharing their stories tonight. This happened just after 7:30 Friday on Woodmore Road in Mitchellville near Bowie. The families placed memorials at the tree where Prince George's County police say a Kia that all 4 people were inside and crashed and went up in flames. This happened about 2.5 miles from where police tried to stop the driver for expired tags. Well, they ended the chase after they lost sight of the car. Police did not see that car again until right before the wreck. Investigators told us the Kia had been involved in a carjacking earlier in Greenbelt, and among those who were killed, 15-year-old Serenity Selman.
We're definitely going to miss the smile. That's all we got from her. Serenity was never upset, ever. The only time you will see Serenity upset is when she, honestly, when she takes a loss.
Also killed in the crash, Serenity's 17-year-old cousin, we're told, Latrell Byers. Police have not confirmed the identities of the 2 other victims, and authorities are asking people to call them if they have any information about the wreck. And at this hour, D.C. police investigate 5 shootings that happened in just 6 hours across Northwest and Southeast overnight. The first on Shepherd Street, Northwest. Police say 2 black cars were seen leaving that area. The next 3 shootings were reported within an hour of each other on M Street, Northwest, Wayne Place Southeast, and Georgia Avenue Northwest, where police say a teenage girl was shot outside of a recreation center near Howard University. But the most recent in all of those shootings reported around 4 a.m. on 13th Street. 52-year-old Patricia Johnson was killed there. Desmond Thurston of Southeast has been arrested and charged. Turning now, relief and a little exasperation tonight after the federal government avoided a shutdown with just hours to spare. But today, President Biden said the compromise is good for the American people, though he came out verbally sparring, too, blasting Republicans for what he called a needless crisis.
But folks, the truth is we shouldn't be here in the first place. We shouldn't have gotten here in the first place. It's time to end governing by crisis and keep your word when you give it in the Congress.
And Congress passed a bill that will fund the government for another 45 days with no major changes to agency budgets. It doesn't include any money for Ukraine and no border security provisions. And SNAP benefits are also getting some changes today. More money each month and addressing who's eligible. This comes after President Biden signed the Fiscal Responsibility Act back in June. Right now, more people will be required to prove that they are actively working, training, or in school to receive benefits. Benefits are also increasing today to keep up with inflation. For a family of 4 making less than $39,000 a year, your monthly benefit would be $973, up from $835 every month in 2022. And if you live in the district and need help with your rent to avoid potential eviction, the district's emergency rental assistance program reopened today. Our Tosin Fakile fills us in.
There are some changes to be aware of as you start applying for the rental assistance program. D.C. Council increased the budget by over $30 million, and the emergency rental assistance program portal will now be open 4 times a year. That is according to D.C. leaders. Now, the program helps people who live in D.C. facing a housing emergency and making less than 40% of the area median income with money for overdue rent. That money also includes late fees and court costs if qualified household is facing eviction. The emergency rental assistance program portal opened Sunday, October 1st, and D.C. Council members say the portal will now be open once a quarter. So we're talking October 1st, January 1st, March 1st, and June 1st. The portal will stay open each time until they receive 3,500 applications. D.C. Council members say they increased the rental assistance program budget from the initial $8 million the mayor proposed to $43 million. Now, to find out if you qualify or submit an application, just use the website on your screen right now to do that. And for D.C. residents who do not have access to a computer or a smartphone, officials say you can call the program's hotline at 202-507-6666. In the studio, I'm Tosin Fakile for DC News Now. Back to you.
Our thanks to Tosin tonight. Some new laws go into effect today in Maryland, including changes to gun laws and those surrounding domestic disputes. One law repeals a spousal defense law that had prohibited prosecuting a spouse for rape or certain sexual offenses. As for the new gun law, starting today, you won't be able to carry a concealed handgun at schools, healthcare facilities, government buildings, and stadiums. And hate crime victims will now be able to sue the person or group who committed a crime against them. There's some changes to drug policies, too. Hospitals will be required to test for fentanyl to assess a patient's condition. And the law will grant immunity from legal consequence to somebody experiencing a medical emergency after substance abuse. And back here in the district, Mayor Bowser says 400 police officers have left the force over the past 4 years, and keeping cops is one of the acting police chief's priorities. Despite the mayor's estimate, the D.C. Police Union says more than 1,300 officers have parted ways with MPD since June of 2020. The union says it remains dedicated to working with D.C. City Council and other elected officials to find meaningful police reform measures while keeping communities safe from violent crime. City's homicide total, just in context, passed 200 just this week for the year in total. That was the same mark set in December of last year. And the Commanders in an overtime thriller tonight, a big divisional matchup for the team on the road against undefeated Philadelphia. An exciting back and forth that came down to the wire. D.C. had a chance with the ball in overtime, but they were unable to score. Then all Philadelphia had to do was kick a field goal to win. 34-31. Good game indeed. Head coach Ron Rivera reacting to that tough loss.
That's what you're looking for, is that kind of growth, that you do something, you make some mistakes, you come back and you play off. It's a hell of a performance by Sam. He bounced back. You know, he learned from last week. He grew and he got better, and it was reflected in the way he played. It was reflective in the way he led our offense. There are a lot of positive things that we're going to take from that.
Of course, Sam Howell, their quarterback. The Commanders are now 2-2 this season. They face the Chicago Bears on Thursday. Developing right now, D.C. police say that they've arrested a man in connection to a double shooting that left 2 people hurt at the Addison Road Seat Pleasant Metro Station last week. 25-year-old D'Angelo Walker has been charged with attempted second-degree murder. Police say Walker turned himself in this morning. And Metro says all yellow and blue line train service is back up and running. This comes after service was disrupted because of signal problems between Potomac Yard and National Airport stations. Officials say that there were delays to be expected there. It's the same area where a train carrying around 50 people had derailed on Friday. Back to your weather with Scott Sumner. Scott, what have we got behind us?
Well, we're not derailed here in the Weather Center. We're staying on track, I can tell you that. We are staying on track, and you know, the weather is looking pretty good, pretty fine. We have clouds that are off to the east of the region. You can see a little bit of the spin here. That was the storm that impacted New York City with over 6 inches of rain in places. And yeah, we're not dealing with that. They're not dealing with it. We've got quiet times ahead. Thankfully so, they can dry out off to the north. And as far as temperatures are concerned, I want to show you the big picture here because you can see all the warmth extending from the upper plains states all the way down to the Rio Grande River. And 80s are being seen here, or certainly upper 70s. Well, we'll start to transition these temperatures in our direction as we go throughout the next couple of afternoons, and then eventually a cooler air will build in. That cooler air right now is in the Pacific Northwest. Mowing the lawn tomorrow, this is what you can expect. Temperature between 72 and 80 degrees. Patchy fog potentially in places out towards the Shenandoah Valley. Otherwise, sunny and mild with a light northerly breeze. Clear and pleasant tonight. Late week showers arrive and cooler temperatures next weekend. We'll show it to you with that 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Scott. Turning to the White House, celebrating a former president today. Workers put up this huge makeshift cake for Jimmy Carter's 99th birthday. The former president spent the special day with his wife, Rosalind, and their children in their hometown of Plains, Georgia. Happened at the same house that the former president lived in before the former president was first elected a state senator in 1962. Bill Clinton wished Carter a happy birthday, saying, "You only get to be 99 once." Meantime, the Carter Center in Atlanta, at their 99 new American citizens took the oath of allegiance as part of a naturalization ceremony timed for Carter's birthday.